we just got done watching The Rise of Skywalker, and we've been watching the video series right along, and I had the most unpredictable reaction. I sobbed. Like, I think being a mom now, like, there's just certain things I can't even hold it back. I just get all choked up when, Leia dies, but then she's still there in the spirit world, and she's with her son because she knows there's still good in him, and she's not going to give up on him. And then, Ben goes to Exegol, and he goes to be with Rey, and they just God, I feel like such a loser for crying. I can't help it, because any of you that have been watching these videos that I've been doing, and I've been talking about these different sides of, light and dark and good and evil, and obviously that's the theme of this whole Star Wars saga. And I recognize that, like, diehard Star Wars fans have their opinions about, the newer movies, but, like, unpopular opinion, I think they're fantastic. And I think it's kind of tragic that, at the end, Kylo Ren, comes to himself and is Ben, and he and Rey are this dyad in the Force, and then she gives everything she has to defeat Palpatine, and there's just this moment where he was like, "You can't win. I am the Sith. I am every Sith that has ever come. I am all of them." And there's this moment where everyone's dying, and you just think it's all over. And it seems like, oh, it's just a movie, it's so trite, but, like, it's not, because there are these moments where we just want to give up, and she just didn't. And she reminded herself, she remembered in this moment where her heart was just breaking, and she's at the edge of death, and she knows that she can be all of the Jedi. And she did, and she stood up. She stood up to him. She stood up to evil. She stood for the light, and she did it. She did it, and it's such a powerful reminder not to give up when it feels so hopeless. And she gave her life for it, because she did die. And, Ben kind of claws himself out of my cat can tell I'm crying, because I'm crying into my ramen. Like, and then, that moment happens where he brings her back, and they just look into each other's eyes, and she's like, Are you Ben? You're the person I love. I mean, a dyad in the Force, I imagine that's like a twin flame, soulmate, like that's what all of us want, right? Except that it's like a blessing and a curse, and they have that moment, they kiss, he smiles, he laughs, and then he's gone. And it's because he couldn't have lived. With what his character did, even though it was tragic that he turned because Luke, was afraid of what he would become and tried to kill him. And so then, Ben was always this, Kylo Ren was always this really conflicted character, as they have been historically through the series. But there is a cost to giving yourself over to the darkness, to the evil, to the, and I've been really, there have been such a meeting at the crossroads of people from my life in the last couple weeks, an intersection, that's the word I'm looking for, because I feel like I'm going through some sort of spiritual transformation, and I still don't know what it is. I don't have my finger on it. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. I'm still mulling it over. I'm still working through it. I'm still processing it. And, you know, I was talking to my husband about this yesterday. And because I'm going through all of that, I think that's why it's hitting so hard for me. I don't know why it's visceral for me. And, you know, he said, my husband said, I will support you no matter what you choose. And, you know, I meant what I said a couple videos back when I said, you know, the light is so much. It's so pure. It's so present. It's so radiant that I don't have a name for it. I get confused when I try to zero in on the names. And I know those of you who ascribe to one particular religion or another are probably screaming at me right now going, it's Jesus, or it's this one, or it's that one. And I just think there are things that are so much bigger. And of course I love Christ, and of course I love the light. And, you know, this scripture that says God is love, he that knows love knows God. He that doesn't know love doesn't know God. You know, and in this Star Wars movie that we just watched, you know, it's like movie 6, movie 9. So like this whole series of movies that we just watched, that is the theme, you know, that is the theme. And, you know, this channel isn't called like teachings, or, you know, like I'm not here as a higher authority. I'm not. And oh, hi, my dog is here though. Hi, Leela, my one-eyed boy. I know, sweet boy. And then here's my soul kitty. They've both come. And Naga, what's crazy is she has an eye injury in this eye. He has an eye injury in this eye. And these are my two babies that I've raised from. I don't know what that means. You guys can give me whatever your thoughts are on that. This is a journey. I'm on it. I'm sharing it with you guys because we are all on a journey. And I don't have the answers. I'm not pretending to know the answers. I don't want to know. I mean, no, I do want to know the answers, and I'm going to work them out because they are working themselves out. You know, there is a scripture that talks about working out our salvation with fear and trembling. I don't know that I'm working out my salvation in fear and trembling, but I know that I am working out this spiritual journey, and I feel peace, you know. So, no, my daughter's getting ready for bed. She's an hour past her bedtime. So I just wanted to hop on real quick and share that moment with you all. And you know, I'm tempted to say, like, the light always wins. In the movies, the light always wins. The light always wins. But it's a moment in time where the pendulum, you know, at the end of the last Skywalker in the last movie, it's you know, the light has won, but it's only a matter of time before the pendulum swings back. And, you know, it was really something quite interesting because I was listening to an interview yesterday with somebody who is a born-again Christian, and he was talking about his spiritual journey. And he was talking about, he said, Satan roams the earth and seeks to devour all that is good and light. And I had a visceral reaction to that as well, because I don't think it works that way. I was talking to another friend of mine about it, because I've really been trying to work this out. Like, this is on my mind. It is in the forefront of my experience right now. And it's this idea that, my friend reminded me, she said, when you're in a dark room and you light a candle, what happens to that room? The light, just by being itself, holds the darkness at bay. And, it's true. The light does hold the darkness at bay. And so all of this fear about evil, all of this fear about darkness, all of this fear about the things that are happening in the world, happening in our society, happening, politics, and with the elites and with the people governing our world. Sometimes I feel like in that moment in the movie where it just feels like all of these people have all of this power and they're making these decisions so outside of our control that are negatively affecting humanity and this planet, and it feels like there's nothing we can do. I'm still gonna let my light shine, because that's all we can do, and not give up, because maybe it can't change everything, but what if it can? What if each one of us not giving up can change something and make a difference, and each one of us shining our little light can keep the darkness at bay? And that's the other part of the last part of this movie, when Poe, he has this moment where he's looking around, everybody's dying, nobody came, and he says to everybody, "I'm so sorry. I thought they would come. I'm sorry." And then, everybody came, and on the ships, they're like, who is this? There's no fleet. And the guy who's on one of the enemy ships, he's like, "This isn't a fleet, it's just people. It's just people." And that's us. We're just people. But we have light, and we have love, and we have hope, and we have each other. This little light of mine. So cheesy, but in those moments, that's what we remember, right? I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Much love and many blessings.